and handling objections. Okay. I don't convince. Convince means that if I would always be, messaging you even after you told me no, and I'd be pushing you. You don't do that. And she's like, what's an objection? She's never been in sales, right? She's like, she said, what is objections? I said, these are objections. I said, these are the objections that people have. And I said, I'm glad that you told me your objections, because if you didn't, and you just canceled the call, or you signed up and you're all scared and you still have these objections, then you wouldn't be starting with the right energy. I'm glad you shared these objections with me because I want to clear them up. Right. And I said, look, you gave me these 4, but there's actually 4 other ones. There's time, there's money, there's network marketing, and there's sales. Actually, one of yours is sales, but you gave me these 4. I didn't even have to do these 4 with you, but I said, there's only about 8 objections you'll ever see. And guys and gals, there's only 8 objections you're ever going to see. And so if you can master these 8 objections, do you want me to repeat them? Is this network marketing? Sales? I don't have the time. I don't have the money. And then hers, are a little bit different. I'm shy. I don't want to convince people. I don't want to do public speaking, and I fear rejection. Okay, so those 4 are kind of like a little off the beaten path. They all have to do with sales though. Okay. And by the way, she had the money objection for the first 3 weeks. So think about it. She had the money objection for the first 3 weeks. What do you do with the money objection? Guys, listen, this is what you do with the money objection. You get them to watch stories to increase their desire. Because the truth is, everybody has resources, but her desire wasn't big enough to overcome the obstacles yet, to access her resources. Right? So your job is to give the person who doesn't have the money, oh, you know what? No problem. You still want to do this. You just don't have the money. Okay, well, I'm going to give you some stories to watch, and let's talk again in a couple of days, and let's give you a head start. And while you put together your ways of getting the money together, watch these stories, and let's talk again on Wednesday next week. Okay, or let's talk again in 4 or 5 days. You have to figure out how, sometimes 1 week is good, sometimes 3 or 4 days is good, but you got to give them a lot of stories. Okay, so anyway, I talked about, so we talked about the convincing thing, right? The difference between convincing and handling objections. And handling objections, it's just being professional, right? And just going and helping someone overcome. And I said, sometimes I handle all the objections and the people still don't want to do it. And I'm okay. I'm happy. I'm okay. I'm happy. I'm still working with a lot of people, helping a lot of people. But you will not be convincing in this business. You will learn how to handle objections. I'll help you learn that, but you will not be convincing. Okay. She said rejection, fear of what other people are going to think. I'm like, oh my gosh, people are going to judge you. They're going to be like, what is she doing? This pyramid. People are going to say, oh, you got brainwashed. Now you're in one of these things. And like, I made fun of it. Right. I said, we all go through rejection. And, the thing is to have fun with it, put the Holy Spirit in charge of who you contact, kind of let it just like, let it, I guess you say like surrender, okay, to the people that you talk to. You will go through rejection, but you're going to also have people who want to do this. You're going to have people who it's not even like hard for you to sign them up. Like you're much harder. I said, you're hard. I said, you're much harder than some other people that are they just want to do it. And I shared some stories of people I signed up who were much easier to sign up than her. Okay. And she said, oh, okay. Like I helped her understand that rejection is okay. You're going to still have it. Surrender, like put the Holy Spirit in charge type of thing. And so I handled the rejection by kind of sharing those stories, right? The public speaking, I said, you're not going to have to do public speaking. It's going to be mostly one-on-ones, and you're going to have a chance to grow. And then I told her the story of Jeremy's public speaking. I'm like, Jeremy was like shaking, and he was, they put him on stage because he made all this money, but he didn't even want to be there. And then they took him off stage, and then he finally grew into it. And so I shared stories of public speaking, but I said, you won't have to do that. And in the beginning, when you get that opportunity, you can maybe step into it later. But I handled the public speaking objection. So after, again, like I answered, I said, okay, did I answer all your objections? Are there any more? She said, no. Then you always have to end with, okay, where would you like your product shipped to? And you let them give you their address. Okay. So there you go. There's your impromptu handling objections training tonight. But the whole point, and I see you, Patty, raise your hand. The whole point is that I stayed light on the whole call. I stayed happy on the call. I had fun with it. I didn't make it so serious, but I still asked the questions and I was still professional about it. Right. So that's what I want y'all to take from that. Okay, go ahead, Patty.
I just wanted to find out if this was one of your social media strangers that you met, warmed up, started working with, did your normal scripts, etc.
Yep, she was someone who watched my workout stories.
Okay.
And I've been looking at people who watch me and Crystal do our workouts, and then I just send them a straight invite, like a straight direct invite. I didn't even warm her up, because if someone's watching your stories, they're already warmed up. They already like you. Okay. Now, if you're taking a cold stranger and you hit suggested friends and you hit add friend, I think you should message them, get to know them, warm them up, and then invite them. But someone who watches your story every day, that's like a fan. Okay. That's already warm. So you can invite those. And so she was one that watches my story regularly, and I just sent her the straight invite, and then it led to an appointment. Yeah. And I've got a lot that way from story.
Hey,
so,
Gerad.
Thank you. Yeah.
I want to acknowledge you for a couple of things of the way you described that. Number one, you acknowledged that she had objections. And by acknowledging her, you gave her permission to go, oh, somebody is listening to me. And then you listened to her and you recreated or you restated what her objections were. And that gave her a lot of freedom to trust you. So yes. I like the way you wove that whole thing together like that.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Sure.
Yeah, guys, handling objections is very important. You've got to be able to do it if you're going to bring on associates. If you're going to bring on someone who wants to build a business, this is totally different than just bringing in a customer, right? So thank you, Dr. Norm.
Hey, Gerad, it's Jill. I have a question. So, I have some customers in Europe because I come from the UK. I always have difficulty finding out how you can work out the products are not the same always. In fact, there are a lot of things that are not the same in Europe as in America. Did you call and find out, or did you just go click the Spanish flag on the thing and just see what they had available? I mean, how did you work out?
You know what? I'm going to show y'all, because this is like something I just learned.
Yeah, it's awkward, and I've played this game a long time.
Check this out. This is like so cool. Okay, here's what you guys do, guys. This is much easier than clicking on the flag. In fact, the flag thing doesn't even really give you the right info. I write it.
No, it doesn't.
So actually, I'm going to stop share because I need to log in, and I ended up changing my password. Who tried to log in on Sunday and you couldn't, and so you changed your password and you still couldn't? Because that was me.
What was going on Sunday? It messed up.
It was just website updates, but USANA's site would, like, you couldn't log in for the entire day. Yeah. And so like we were all a lot of us changed our password and like struggled. Okay, so here's my page, right? So you go into enroll, like you're going to enroll a new associate in your country, right? Yeah. And so what I did was I selected Spain here on the enrollment side. And then I actually wanted English so I could understand it easier. So I have Spain English going on right now.
Okay.
And then I hit enroll, and now I select, okay, oh, the welcome kit is €9. Okay, I learned something. Okay. And then I'm looking here inside of Spain, and I clicked on nutritionals, and I went down and I found there's a 200-point pack called the Live USANA Core Pack, which I think is a pretty good pack. It's €315, 200 points. And it's got like shakes and a lot of vitamins and probiotics. And so when I found this pack, I'm like, this is the one you need, basically. Okay. So you have to go and find this out before the phone call.
Right.
And I also found a pack that was more expensive, because you know how you should have two packs, like a big one and a small one. And so here's the deluxe pack that's 629 euros and 400 points. Okay. So I offered her basically a selection of those two packs, and then just let her choose like what she could afford or whatever else, you know? So just go into again, you have to go into the enrollment page, and then down here you select the country, and you can see them all. Like I've been looking at them, because I'm now starting to work with people in different markets. And so like Mexico has a bunch of 200 point packs, and then of course it's only available in Spanish, but anyway, yeah. So you can do it that way.
Okay.
And you can see any market's packs.
I messed about with vitamin D in the English market for a long time. I think they
better be prepared, because I mean, you know, they're counting on you to be a good parent, good sponsor. All right. Okay. Oh wow, you saw my password? You really saw my password, Jane? Damn, everyone saw my password. Okay, great. Well, I got to change my password now. Thanks, Jane. 10 figures was my password now. I'm about to change it. So who else did an assignment? Changing my password right now, by the way. Hello. Who else did an assignment?
I did.
Oh, please share. Please share.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I saw your password, but I have to tell you.
Thank you. Thank you. You're so
welcome.
sweet. Everyone would have gone in and bought a bunch of product on my credit card and sent it to their address.
We're far too honest. So I've been doing a social media every day, and I think I've shared this before. I retired like 3 weeks ago now from nursing. I've been doing this social media every day. Sometimes I felt very, very uncomfortable. Sometimes I've had lots of fun with it. But the feedback I've actually got back, especially from two colleagues that I had lunch with yesterday, who one of them was my leader in nursing, and she doesn't really do Facebook that much, but she's actually been watching. And her and my other colleague, they just shared that how proud they were, and the fact that I was still talking about health, but obviously from a different slant. So I was really pleased with that. And also, when you're talking about objection, I've been following up with a lady who was on my chicken list, who's some big director within our healthcare system. And I've been talking to her for many weeks, and eventually she wanted to chat. So we had a wonderful, two wonderful conversations a couple of weeks ago. I sent her all the links to sign up as a PC. And she actually wrote back to me. She didn't want to chat anymore, but she just wanted to talk sort of on text. So I just want to quickly read the time you've spent with so much money on 2 bottles of vitamins. USANA is above my price range. Thank you, though. I appreciate you telling me about it. So I asked her if she had considered maybe starting with 1 bottle. And she said she would consider that. And then the question was, do other people find the products expensive? So I wrote back, I think it depends on people's perspectives, finances, and need to feel better. It's all a matter of choice. Some people find ways of affording it when they look at where else they spend their money. I make more than enough to pay for my products and get a tax refund too for running the business. So there are different ways of supporting our health, physical and financial. Let me know if you want to look at the business side. It's a win-win. And she wrote back, you are the most beautifully optimistic spirit I have known in a long time. Thank you for your sweetness. I look forward to seeing you in person. And then, as it turns out, USANA, I think about a day or two later, came out with the Get Up and Go pack with $15.50 off Canadian. So I sent it to her. I said, great news. This pack is on sale just for 1 week. And she ordered it. So she ended up ordering 3 bottles instead of the 2. So
That's
I was
awesome.
I was really quite surprised. But at the same time, it didn't faze me because I'd had those really good conversations with her. And at the end.
And just being light about everything. That's the key, right?
Yep.
Now, I will say this, just to give you some feedback. I want you to learn how to lead with the business and have business conversations first. The reason is, in a business conversation, $1,000 is very cheap for a business. And so you need to attract prospects into your life that think, oh yeah, $1,000 for the big pack. Oh, that's nothing. And the only way you're going to get that is if you lead with the business and you have those conversations about a business, then you show the business packs, and then you have to cast a vision of, hey, look, compare this to being a day trader. You'd have to pay a mentor $5,000 to teach you how to trade stocks, and then you wouldn't even get any products. With USANA, all you do, our biggest pack is $1,000-ish, and you get to consume that, and then the training's free. So you see how that language and that energy will attract someone to spend $1,000. And then what happens to your business when you put in thousands of points, right? So that's the shift you've got to make if you want to really get to where you want to go in your business, you know what I mean? And when you have somebody who's thinking so small that $50 for a box of vitamins is too much, like, I agree, you need to be loving, and you need to be light, and you need to be like exactly how you were. And I'm that way. But I made a decision a while back. It's like, I just don't want to deal. I don't want to talk in those terms as my main thing anymore, because I did for a long time. Like, I led with the products for a long time. But you still have to be able to do it. You still have to be able to lead with the products, be loving, and help people where they're at. But I want to challenge you this week. I want you to invite 10 people to the business, and I want you to give a business presentation. Okay. And all of you watching, that's your assignment this week I want you to invite 10 people to a business presentation, and then give the business presentation. Do not rely on a work from anywhere. You've got to become the presenters, guys. Okay. And if you don't know where the slides are, or if you don't know, like, you don't have a presentation, you got to go find it. You got to be a problem solver. You got to go ask someone and develop one, and then have packs and speak with vision. You know, so I'm glad you shared that, because again, you are loving, you are exemplifying, God in how you're being, and that's beautiful. And you can do that now, even at a bigger scale, So thank you, Jane. Yeah. Norm, Dr. Norm, I see you.
Yeah, thanks. I picked up a really out of the box way to approach people with social media for the business. And I got this from Nathan. And so he said, go to somebody's Facebook profile, and then you compliment them, make a couple of comments. So let me share with you what I shared and what kind of results I got on the very first one that I did this. You got time for that?
Yeah. Can you share your screen?
Yeah, if you promise not to contact this person.
Yeah, man. I was wondering who they are, man. I need to
Okay.
I need to friend them.
Here you go.
Thank you, Dr. Norm.
Hang on.
Hey, you guys already saw my password, so hey, I mean, it's all good.
Okay.
We're all a family here, right?
Okay, that's
Okay.
Okay, here it is. Can you see this?
I'm watching. Yep, I can see it.
Okay, so the woman on the left here is Sarah Donahue.
Yeah.
Okay, so I said to her, "Hi, Sarah. So I belong to several groups. So this one here is an e-bike group that I belong to.
Uh-huh.
And this is pretty much modified from Nathan's script.
Okay, cool.
Hey, Sarah, how are you? I found your profile from E-Bikes of America and been following your Facebook content. It's very inspiring, which is true, it was. I can see that you are health and wellness focused and appreciate your post on inclusivity. I'm also passionate about health and wellness. It looks like I can't invite you to be a friend, and that's why I messaged you. Now, if she was able to be a friend, I would have invited her as a friend. But anyway, so I asked the question to continue the conversation. She said, how long have you had an e-bike? And she comes back with two answers. She doesn't mind me messaging her as long as I keep it benign and kind. And then she says about 6 months ago, we rented some bikes, blah, blah, blah. And then I followed up with, well, my wife and I got 2 e-bikes a couple of months ago and just love tooling around in Albuquerque. This lifestyle also fits well with our focus on health and wellness. This may or may not be for you, but we are looking for like-minded folks to explore a health and wellness business project. We are excited about expanding. Would you like to know more? And guess what? She says, sure. So yeah. I set up an appointment with her. She's gone out of the country for a little bit, but I'm setting up an appointment with her in...
Show what you said, though.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Great. Let's do a 10 to 15 minute Zoom call next week.
A quick 10 to 15 minute Zoom call. And then I ask a couple of times, and then we can talk about her e-bike experiences. So I kept it very friendly, very light, like you say, Gerad.
Yes.
Gerad. And then she's going to be out of the country. And I said, fine. Hey, look, why don't we get together and I got to get this thing out of here. Okay. Why don't we get together and where are you heading and blah, blah, blah. And so I told her we're going to do this and that. And then she comes back with a thumbs up. So that's how that went. And that was the
that's
very
awesome,
first
man.
Thing that I did with that technique. Now I've done it a couple of other ways with some other people, and I'm getting really good responses on it because I'm not wasting. It's my word, wasting, but I don't get into, hey, how's it going? Come back another question. Hey, how's it going? Wait a couple more days, and then a week later, okay. I just believe that I need to be authentic and right up front in a nice, gentle, light way, like you said. Because people are expecting this. I get hits every day on stuff that want me to, hey, here's a chiropractic service you can use, doc, and blah, blah. I'm not even in that business anymore. But the point is, people want authenticity, and they don't want to beat around the bush, in my opinion. So that's why I'm getting the results. So I'm going to really push this concept out.
Yeah, Dr. Norm, you're rolling, my man. Really, really nice. Yeah, you're right. There is a nice point of being direct and giving that invite. And honestly, like, we all have to just spend like about an hour a day doing a power hour, right? Of like inviting people and figuring out the rhythm that's going to work, that gets you results. And then once you get results, it's like, oh, this is like, you just got a result, right? So now you have more confidence on the next one. And DJ Dean says, I appreciate your honesty and direct approach. Yeah, exactly. So thank you for sharing that, Dr. Norm. And I want you guys to all just keep doing invites and keep doing networking. This replaces you going to a BNI meeting, right? Your BNI meeting is sitting down with your Facebook open and keeping track on a little piece of paper and just meeting new people and friending and chatting and being a good friend and inviting, and your goal is to become a master at taking someone, turn them a stranger into a friend, and then a friend into USANA family, right? And invite them to a Zoom call, face-to-face, or phone call. Yes. All right, our last question goes to Paula Pinyard. Paula, go ahead.
There we go. Okay, so my sister and I have been working. Oh, thank you. Yeah, red's my favorite color, so let's pop it when we can. part of the branding, right?
Yes.
So it seems like 2020 was just massive personal development and training between Eric Worre, Fraser Brooks. I mean, there's a million of them out there, right? Plus the great things you guys do with Diamond U. So my sister and I have been working on our own presentations. So we're switching off back and forth, you know, but I'm very curious in feedback. And I want to appreciate Dr. Worm for saying that, because feel like I used the direct approach forever, and then I sifted back, and I am just not me. And I think that's why I'm struggling. I just need to get back on track. So thank you for that. My question, thank you for your patience. Eric Worre talks about his presentation where he takes through the 5 elements of, you know, how do you evaluate a business? And we started building our presentation around that rather than the work from home. And I find myself like, we're too USANA heavy. Then we feel like, well, if we tell them just that, we're going to have to do a whole nother presentation. I would love some feedback, because we have just been regurgitating this thing it's driving me crazy.
Well, first of all, I have to say, you know, great job on being in the struggle, right? Like being in the struggle, that means that you're growing. That means that you are, you know, like, in it, and we're all in it, right? We're all in that struggle. And I guess you're in the accelerator program to have all this knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Look, there's a lot of people on this call, 65 people. There's probably 65 different opinions of how to present and, you know, the slide deck you should use and whatever else. You have to really, you know, a lot of it is trial and error, right? Like, have you tried your presentation on anyone yet?
Our mom a couple times, and we've got a couple of friends that have peeked in to kind of give us some information, but then we pull back and we're redo it all over again. And so, yeah.
Okay. So I'm just going to share with you what's worked for me, and what's like, what, you know, as a crossline, the value of talking to crossline is I don't care what you think. Right. And like, I don't like have a horse in the race, right? Like that's the benefit of having like when you're talking to your downline, you got to be kind of a little careful, a little sugarcoat, you know, but like, you know, so that's a value of the relationship that we have as crossline. That's why I think this is also a really beautiful thing we have with Diamond U. But like, so I've done presentations with like lots of slides before that like go into like that show like lots of technical things, lots of comp plan things, lots of information on the products, long presentations that last a whole hour. I've done presentations that are 30 minutes where I just speed through them, and I'm just like so fast, and I just get through them quickly. But what I found is that no matter what I say, if it's a short, quick slide deck or a long slide deck with lots of info, no matter what I say, at the very end, it always takes me about another 20 minutes to get their feedback. What did you like about what you saw in the video? What stood out to you about the personal stories that we shared? Okay, here are your startup options. Which pack do you feel like is best for you? Right? Hypothetically, if you were to get started, how much money would you need to make this worth your time, right? Eric Worre closing questions, right? So now they're, let me think about that. And then they're confused, right? They're like, well, I don't know. And then they'll say like, $4,000 a month. And no, I'm like, no, I was talking part-time. Like if you do this part-time, so no matter what and how good the presentation is, you need at least 20 minutes to like kind of close it out and then go to the like the next meeting or the next appointment, right? Because usually they don't sign up on the first call, right? Or the first thing. So the reason that I do it the way I do I do a 4.5 minute video. Okay. Mm-hmm. And all the video does is shows credibility of USANA. Mm-hmm. And I hit play. Now, why do I hit play? Because I want them thinking, oh, I could hit play too. It's doable. Yes. I don't have a slide deck.
Okay.
And then at the end, I say, okay, so I'm going to share my story with you. So, because you would share your story during the presentation, right? And your story is the most important part. So they watch the 4-minute video, and I know this might like throw you totally off track, but I'm just being honest. Okay. Like true honesty. They watch the 4-minute video. Then I say, you know what? I'm going to share my story. And then I share my story like how I've taught you guys how to share a story. Mm-hmm. And then I say, and I cast a vision with that story. And I take 2 or 3 minutes, but I don't take 10 minutes. Yeah. But I cast a vision of that story. And if I have a new associate, I've gotten them to cast a vision with their 2 to 3 minute story as well. Mm-hmm. Okay. So they'll hear 2 stories. They'll see a 4-minute video and hear 2 stories. Mm-hmm. And after those stories, then I say, okay, now I have a couple questions for you. And they still don't even know what the products are really. They don't know much. Okay. What did you like about what you saw in the video? And then the only thing they can say is credibility. I like the doctors. I like some of the products. I like the science. Like they know USANA is a big company. Yeah. Right. And then I say, okay, totally. And then the next part is, what stood out about our stories? What did you like about our stories? And by this point, we're like 20 minutes in. We from the beginning to the end, we're about 20 minutes in so far. Mm-hmm. And they'll say, oh, I like this about your story and that. Okay, cool. Hypothetically, if you were to get started with USANA on an online business, how much money would you need to earn to make this worth your time? Right. And then they go through, and like, they don't know any details. And like, I'm getting them through. Okay. And they're signing up like, so they'll say 2,000 a month, 1,000 a month. I'll help them through. How many hours a week could you work? You know the closing questions. How many hours a week? How many months would you stick with it? If I could show you how to make $1,000 a month working 10 hours a week over the next 6 to 12 months, would you consider getting started? I changed the wording to consider because I felt like, would you be ready? Sometimes it was too pushy. Mm-hmm. Consider always gets them to say yes. Okay, totally. Well, the next step is for me to, but then they're like, yeah, but I don't know very much about the products. And sometimes they don't even say that. They say, yeah, I've considered getting started because they know what they need to know. Mm-hmm. And then I message them over startup options from the bundles. Okay. Mm-hmm. And basically like walk them through those bundles. And then I say, I'm not asking you to buy right now, but which of these bundles look best to you? Mm-hmm. Now, during those explanation of the bundles, I mentioned pharmaceutical grade. I mentioned some of the things. So it's almost like a backwards presentation because you're explaining a little bit about the content of the products through the startup bundles. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then at the end, I say, I'm not expecting you to buy right now, but which stand out best to you? And then they say, oh, the big pack. Okay, great. Well, that's a great option, or the small pack, whatever. The next step is for us to talk again in a day or two to give you a little time to digest this conversation and for us to meet again. And of course, if you're ready at that time, then I'll do your payment info over the phone and we can help you get started. And in the meantime, I want you to watch this video by Jim Rohn called Building Your Network Marketing Business. And I insert Jim Rohn into their brain. And these people, they just like listen to Jim Rohn and they're like, and they come back to me in 2 days and they're like really ready, or they at least maybe they're not ready to buy right now, but like maybe they are. I've had people buy a pro pack 2 days after I invited them because of that Jim Rohn and because of my presentation was 30 minutes. Yes. I get through the whole thing without a slide deck with just a video that's 4.5 minutes and explaining packs. And the whole entire call is 30 minutes or less. Yeah. And the last 20 minutes is the close. Mm-hmm. Okay. So like, that's like really, really simple.
I like that simplicity. Go ahead.
Yeah. So like, I don't like a slide deck. Now, everybody on here might not agree with me though. Like a lot of the people here would be like, no, dude, even Jeremy, like he prefers to have a slide deck and do it like that. Mm-hmm. Jericho Orlina, he's a 1-star diamond, does a 1-hour presentation. Jeremy does a 1-hour presentation. Like, so guys, there's not one right way. There's not one, like, how can I sit here and say my way is the highway? But I just know I've done it all the ways. I've lived it, So, so that's my answer, to your question. And I want to encourage you to keep putting it out there, keep trying, keep, you can contact me privately if you want to do some coaching on this or something, but like, regardless of what you use to present, guys, you've got to have it ready and you've just got to do it. And you just got to like start doing stuff and trying, and it's going to be messy. Remember, success is messy. And just get out there and cast a vision. No matter if the presentation's long or short, you've got to talk money and you've got to talk vision and you got to talk big. And that is what gets people to follow you. And you've got to be that. And that's what's going to make people follow you, so reach back out to me, Paula. We'll talk some more.
I'd love to jump in really quickly, Paula, and just say a couple awareness and avoidance. Avoidance and awareness and avoidance, that's what it is. We spend all that time because we didn't like the work from home, specifically the speakers. So we spent months getting it so that we felt like it was a little bit more user-friendly and we liked it better, that all the speakers liked it better. And with the strictness right now, so there's just a couple of things to think about, everybody. With the strictness of the FTC and the FDA right now, it's, stricter. And so if we're trying to learn to make our own presentations, I know we can't go to compliance if we're not gold and above, but if we're gold and above and we're trying to make our own, and then that's what we're duplicating. That's what we're showing our team. We're saying to our team, okay, I'm going to make my own and you make your own. And whoa, we get a whole crazy, we get things that are not legal. Every word was so carefully put together that my poor teams of task forces, we had to spend hours on just one word at a time. And then we still had to redo it because of compliance and legal being so tough. So I like what Gerad is saying about having a way that actually isn't always in a slide deck, always up for a vote. It's not always that, because a short video that's a USANA video and a conversation, which is what he just described, is not so concerning, and it's not out there to the masses, and it's not like we're trying to have everyone build their own presentation. When I started 25 years ago, my uplines and all these people were making their own live videos, and I was like crazy. I'm like, I can't do that. I don't know how to do that. And so if that's the game and that's what we all try to do, then first of all, we're in trouble on compliance, and then we're on trouble on duplication. Yes. So simpler is better. And if you can use what we already built and put in the Diamond U and just take out some slides, if you don't like them, you guys can eliminate, take out and make it shorter. Yeah. But it's creating that we get in trouble on. That's why it took us 5 minutes.
Well, and I appreciate that, because that was something Chantel and I were concerned with too, is that because we actually combined, so in our Eric Worre, we have the 4-minute USANA video, and then we have our stories, and then we go back to an element. So we take the elements that Worre lines out and then just insert quick bits of USANA. Yeah. And then that's where we're struggling. It's like, now we've got this far, but maybe that's enough for the close, and just air into that. So maybe I should be brave and invite a couple of volunteers to watch us here in about end of next week, I think, is when we're trying to do our next final. But you make a good point, Patty, and we weren't trying to reinvent the wheel, but it just seems so long yet again. And then both of us are focused on that business first. And so if people are out there exploring all of the different options, we felt this was something we could come as, like Eric Worre says, you're the expert. You're saying, hey, this is what we found, and USANA fits every single element, and that's why we're in, so that's kind of probably more information, but very helpful. Thank you so much for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Paula. Now, guys, we are past time. I've seen Michael has raised his hand. I want to hear from Michael. And I think, is that the last hand raised? Okay, Michael Hollander, the final word, sir. Good to see your smiling face.
And we can't hear you, Michael. I can't hear you.
Oh, no.
I can't.
Well, thank you, Michael. Oh, shoot. No, your mic's not working, man.
Go live on Facebook.
You know, maybe Michael, you could make a Facebook Live and give us your message.
Okay, I'm done.
Oh, there you are.
We got
Okay,
you.
I'm done.
Okay.
You hear me now, right? Whatever you do, Paul, let's consider that you want it to be able to flow through your network, through your organization. So the more that we try to create our own systems and we use our own tools that we make up and what we sandwich together, I mean, it's great. It all works. There's no right or wrong way to do this. But what's going to duplicate? What gets down several levels? What are your people going to do? Where are they going to go for that information? And so I think I'm living, as long as I've lived in USANA, where people were doing systems years ago. I was always of the school that I like to use company materials. So we have company materials, and you can do any kind of presentation of a company material, like the Get to Know USANA booklet or About USANA booklet. I mean, you can do that. They have a PowerPoint. We've got PowerPoints in the back office. You can make it small. You can make it long, or you can do stuff like what Gerad is talking about, just using a sizzle video and then telling stories. That is something you could teach simplistically too. Yeah. But whatever you do, choose something that duplicates and will run through your organization. Otherwise, it stops. Yeah, and I've seen it happen so many times. But at any rate, that's my last words.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, this has been a wonderful call. Sometimes it goes everywhere, right? Like you never know where these calls are going to go. But I really appreciate the relationship we all have together, that we get to share ideas, we get to team up. And, at the end of the day, like we're all out there building our own business, but like, we're a USANA family. And I think the benefit of being in Crossline is to share, again, like I said, it's like, it's okay to like share and not have a horse in the race with the person, right? So you can share what you truly think that you can't always do with your downline. So this is a very, very valuable, and I love you all. And we will see you next week. Hopefully Jeremy will be off the yacht and he can pick it up, tough life, but we love him so much and very grateful to him.